Um,
Good morning and welcome to the Port Car Method. This is where I help men with relationship challenges master confident masculinity through tailored mentoring and simple guides, creating unshakable stability in all facets of your life without lines, manipulation, or compromising your integrity. Let me tell you what I know about you. You are a good man with the very best of intentions. You've simply been lied to all your life. I'm here to correct that by exposing the truths using genuine psychological data, studies, histories. I offer a one-on-one mentoring course, which it's a pretty nice deal. I think I'm doing it too cheaply, but this is what Port Car Merchants is about, and so this is what I'm doing. If you'd like, you can contact me via email, say free phone call, and we will give you 15 minutes to just talk about whether or not you and Port Car Merchants are a good fit, and if so, we'll enroll you in the mentoring program. More about that later. We also offer downloads. These are PDFs that contain all the information you need to have, plus the psychological studies that you can read at your leisure. So, all facts, some fun, and today we're going to talk about the true nature of femininity. And it is as follows. Women should be, are designed to be, are meant to be submissive and supportive. And again, I'm bringing history, psychology, and hard truths. Now, don't think this is an attack on women. When I say that the dominant woman is a myth, I'll explain why I mean. But because they aren't dominant, that also means you can't be mad at them. You can't ever be mad at women for their behavior. You, as the man, are 100% responsible. Not necessarily at fault, but 100% responsible. Now, some of my female audience, and oddly I'm about 40% female audience, they're going to start cheering right now. Yay, a man who gets it! Until they learn why I say that. Then, I should not be allowed to speak in polite society. Here's the truth, fellas. The truth loves debate. The truth is willing to sit down and talk to you and chew the fat and hash it out and figure out what truth is truth. Lies and liars demand you shut the hell up. That's how you can tell the difference. And today, we're peeling back the layers of modern femininity. Not the sanitized version, the raw reality. We'll confront the misconceptions, explore some deeper truths, and expose the dangerous perversions of our modern femocentric world. I'll start with a little story. Buddy of mine, I was at his house, we were having coffee, just shooting the breeze, and his niece comes over. We will call her Blondie Locks. She was 35, great job, not bad looking at all. I mean, she couldn't make a jeans commercial today, but 15 years ago she probably could have. She was complaining to my buddy's wife. For the first time ever, a man had broken up with her. 35 years, never married, no kids. Large and in charge. This was the epitome of a dommy femme. This was a dominant woman. And a man who she said, well, this guy was perfect. He was everything. He was amazing. She, dommy femmed herself completely out of the relationship and didn't know that was what happened. And she's not an anomaly. She's a product of a society which has twisted the natural order, teaching women they belong on top. They should be put on a pedestal while simultaneously failing to prepare for the responsibilities of relationships. Women complain that men won't commit, yet women themselves end virtually every relationship. Modern girls believe their worth is tied to how many men will elevate them How much attention can they garner? Like have replaced genuine human interactions. These women demand the pedestal as if it were their birthright, and clueless little boys oblige them, thinking this will win her heart. But here's something you probably never heard before, and I want it to be clear. Women do not love, a woman does not love you as the man. She loves you for the feelings you make her feel. Butterflies, tingles, drama, excitement, happiness. These are the currencies of modern femininity. A girl craves the emotional highs you provide, not you personally. You embody those things briefly. And sadly, weak men who haven't mastered dominance, are desperate to please. And they misunderstand it entirely. They assume that her love is for him, when in fact it was only for the experiences he created. And when he failed to keep her excited or entertained, she moved on. And I'm sure you've heard this, or you have friends that have heard this, and they have told you about it. Oh, I love you, but I'm no longer in love with you. What she's really saying is that the butterflies are gone. The drama has faded, and she's no longer feeding off of the emotional highs she once got from that man. In the end, it's not about you as a man. It's about the feelings you inspired, and when those feelings fade, there goes her loyalty. And that's why I say it's your responsibility. A lot of what I teach, a lot of what we sell here is simply understanding what makes her tick and how you can be the absolute best man you possibly can be. And just so you know, I started this business. I started Port Car Merchants because I had been mentoring. I've owned some businesses. I've been management, and I have taught a lot of young men how to be mature adult males of the species. This is very important. And my goal was I was just going to sell masculinity to men, because we live in a world where masculinity is labeled as, well, you know. And my goal was to just turn that around and start showing men the value of their own nature. But what happened, what had happened was a lot of men started using what I was teaching them only and specifically to get girls. Because what I teach is really, really good at getting girls. But it's not because girls are the focus or the goal or the aspiration. They are by virtue of you becoming your best self. Women are, they are a byproduct, as is your ability to rise in the ranks in your company, your ability to navigate self-employment, your ability to master the things that really make you happy. That is all in the mindset, the power, the influence, all of those things which we teach, how to embrace, how to control, how to actually express. All of those things translate quite nicely into, hey, women are attracted to this. And once you have that, once you understand that the nature of women and the fact that you cannot be mad at them for doing what they do or behaving the way they do, and later I'll get into the specifics of why they do what they do, you can't be mad at them and you can't hold them responsible, because it's you. The things that attracted them to you initially that you failed to maintain and then they left, that's on you. If you could attract her, you can keep her. And that's where the pickup artist community falls so flat. They teach you how to attract her through remembered rote lines, through neuro-linguistic programming. And I'm not against NLP. I think it's an essential part of any man's development. But if you only use it to get the girl the one night, and you don't understand why a week later you're all alone again, you got to go out and pick up more girls, it's because you have no staying power. You were aping what a genuine man is that attracted the girl, but it does not keep the girl. And that leads me to why women lose relationships. When a man hands over power to a woman in the relationship, he has already taken the first and most necessary step toward losing her. Women believe they should have all the power. They demand the power because they think it will make them happy. But when they get it, they only find dissatisfaction. Blondie Locks wasn't just shocked that a man broke up with her. She's grappling with the reality that her surface-level value, her looks, her supposed charms, her achievements, that was not enough to keep him. She didn't know what he wanted because she'd never been presented with a man who said, "These are the things I want if you want to be in my life." All she knew was men had to give her what she wanted, and then she would get tired of them and boot them and go to the next one. That was her pattern. That was all she knew. And that's the responsibility of every man who said, "Okay, honey, we'll do whatever you want." Stop that. So let's talk a little natural history. The psychology behind the why women behave the way they behave. Back in the early 1900s, actually more importantly, why you should behave differently than women tell you to. Back in the 1900s, German psychologists observed a fascinating phenomenon in flocks of hens. When placed together, the birds instinctively formed dominance hierarchies, what we now call the pecking order. That's where pecking order came from. The top chicken, the alpha hen, she gets to peck every other hen in the flock to get them out of the way. She scratches where she wants. She eats where she wants. She's the top chicken. Then there's the beta, who gets to peck all the other chickens but number one. And then there's number 3. She gets to peck all the other hens but number 2 and 1. And so on and so on and so on until, of course, you get to the omega hen, who pecks no one, eats furthest from the center of the group, and is often the chicken with the least amount of feathers because all the other hens have been just pecking them out of her. She serves a distinct purpose within the hierarchy, and it's the venting of frustration. But here's where things get kind of interesting. Above the hen hierarchy stands the rooster, whose dominance is not questioned. He doesn't engage in hen-pecking disputes because his authority is a given. He's got sharp spurs, a powerful presence, much bigger body. The rooster protects the flock from predators, and he imposes order. Hens instinctively recognize his role, and no hen would ever dare challenge a rooster's authority. Doesn't happen. This principle, natural hierarchies, is not limited to chickens. You knew that. We see similar structures across most of the animal kingdom. Sheep, for instance, they establish their own pecking order. Often, they'll nip, they'll shove, they'll push other sheep out of the way to see who eats first, who eats where. Shepherds, knowing this, they know that if you're managing a flock, you keep an eye on the top sheep and the omega sheep, and the rest of the flock will be somewhere in the middle. But we threw in a very unique dynamic to sheep: the sheepdog. Sheep are afraid of sheepdogs. It's essentially a predator with a little genetic drift flown in, so it's got a fluffy coat and a wagging tail. But still, that's a meat eater. The sheep do what the sheepdog says to because teeth. And sheep hate sheepdogs. Remember that. So what does this have to do with humans? Quite a bit, actually. Among most higher-order animals, male submission to females is rare, serving little to no purpose. Even in higher primates like chimpanzees and gorillas, and bonobos, submissive males are often ignored or ridiculed. The sycophant males, they will bribe females with food or grooming or babysitting. They rarely succeed in actually mating. By contrast, the dominant male operates on his own terms, attracting the most discerning females through their strength, confidence, and ability to lead. And please understand, they get to be the alpha gorilla, the great silverback ape. There's voting in the gorilla pack. And When he's running for office, he brings food to the elderly. He babysits occasionally. He engages in a lot of grooming to be the top gorilla. You have to commit a lot of service to the people who are going to follow you. But that brings us back to the idea of the dominant woman. The reality, this concept only holds water in certain contexts. Among other women, yeah, you can have the demi-femme, or to men who are submissive and sycophantic. Well, yeah, somebody's got to be in charge. Children, they got to be in charge of that. But effective female leaders, while they absolutely exist and they thrive, those women, those strong, intelligent, emotionally capable, competent, good credits, low debt, I promise you they are not looking for weak, sycophantic men for their romantic partners and husbands. Remember that. Okay. This notion that women dominate in the same way men do is largely a product of ideological movements which emphasize equality without defining it. Equal rights? Of course. Equal opportunity to pursue your potential? Absolutely. And equal in nature and function? That's not just misguided, it's biologically and psychologically absurd. The term I'm looking for here is sexual dimorphism. God made every creature well suited to their tasks and roles. If human women were meant to be in charge, why did they get such weak yet alluring bodies? Women can't force consent. They can't knock heads. That's not what they do. Well, yeah, but what about Ronda Rousey and all? No, the girls who are in the combat sports, they don't want to compete with men. That's why having little boys disguised as little girls competing against girls, we get a lot of broken girls that way. Not only were they stealing the scholarships and the gold medals from girls in the wrestling and the combat and the contact sports, they were farming the hell out of these little girls because they were boys. And there's a difference. And if you want to argue with me, please bring it. Show me the science where if I wish something really, really hard, that makes me that thing. Because I tried that up until the age of about 6, and it failed 100% of the time. I couldn't fly, no matter how much I believed I could. I was not a bird. However, some women attempt to mimic male dominance by adopting traits they associate wrongly with masculinity. Aggressiveness, competitiveness, and even abusiveness. True masculinity is not defined by those traits at all. It's defined by protectiveness, self-reliance, and something women are allergic to, complete and total responsibility. Meanwhile, submissive men, eager to please and unwilling to assert themselves, enable these women, perpetuating the myth of female dominance by tolerating behaviors no actually masculine adult male would ever accept. So now let's address the pink elephant, the phenomena which I'm sure some of you have encountered when you visited the kinky chat rooms. The self-proclaimed demi-femme, Mistress Trixie Pants. These women are overcompensating for an identity that they've been encouraged to take by weak men. I give you Exhibit 1, Amber Heard. She was always given the reins in every relationship. I saw a movie she made before the Aquaman. She was hot back when she was 21, 22. That was a smoke show. She had every right to run around saying, I'm the hotness. Okay, great. But she didn't know what to do in charge. I swear to God, she was hoping some man would show her genuine masculine dominance. She went so far as to shit the bed when her man showed her none. You saw the trial, you know what happened. Her husband was just Mikey Milquetoast. He played the violent sword-swinging pirate, but that was just an act. Hell, Will Smith. Tall, good-looking, all the things we assume a man has to be to keep a woman, because that's what we've been told. You got to be tall, rich, famous, handsome, All of those things. Masculinity was a role he adopted to play on TV. He failed miserably in his personal life and wound up crying on national television when his wife told him, "Oh, yeah, I've been screwing our son's friend for a while now." Yeah, tell me again how being tall, rich, and good looking is all you need to be. Take your time. So, guys, why does this happen? It's a modern cultural narrative. Today's society promotes the idea that men and women are interchangeable in their roles and capabilities. This narrative pressures women to embody qualities traditionally associated with masculinity, while discouraging men from asserting themselves. The result? Confusion, frustration, and a distortion of natural dynamics. Let me clarify now. Genuinely dominant women do exist, but they are a statistical outlier. Their dominance applies within very specific contexts, typically with other women or, again, men who willingly submit. And I'm not saying women can't be bosses or own companies or do those sorts of things. It's just not where they gravitate. It's not within the total gestalt of femininity. Women don't make less money. They earn less money. If you want to make a comment and tell me what an idiot I am, no, it's the patriarchy. We are robbing women. Okay, I'm a business owner. I'm only going to hire women so I can pay them less money. Only that never works. Attempts to blur the natural differences between men and women weakens both genders. Men lose their sense of purpose, and women lose the opportunity to experience the fulfillment which comes from complementing a strong, worthy man. No amount of ideology or social protest can override this fundamental reality. Just as no hen pecks a rooster, no true masculine adult male submits to a woman. You just don't. Not in your relationship. The most desirable women understand that instinctively, which is why they gravitate towards leaders, not equals or subordinates. They want a guy that makes half again more money than them, has all of those wonderful attributes, the Will Smith list, and they want him to date down to them, because they'll only date up. The myth of the dominant woman isn't just a myth. It's a death knell for society. Men and women are equal in their rights and potential, but vastly different in their nature and purpose. Understanding and respecting those differences creates harmony, not division. For most women, true strength doesn't lie in domination or in competing with a man. It's complimenting the man who's worthy of her, I'm going to say this out loud again, submission. So the path forward, your return to masculinity. That's the solution. Embrace it. Own it. As a man, you must lead. You must understand the riddle of why girls are the way girls are, and you must redefine your relationships. That's how you attract them, that's how you keep them, and that's how you build a lasting legacy of plenty, abundance, not scarcity. That's what I teach. That's what I sell. That's what Port Car Merchants was developed for. And that's why I'm giving you the Port Car Method. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, do all the things you know you're supposed to do if you like the video. Thank you so much for hanging out this long. I hope you gained something. We will do this all again tomorrow. In the meantime, I have been Benjamin Gall, and I hope you have an excellent day.